With the Xperia Z and Z1 in 2013, the Xperia Z2 and now the Xperia Z3 in 2014, Sony has started a trend of introducing two flagship phones every year. The Xperia Z3, however, is very similar to the Xperia Z2, and the similarities between these two devices exceed the differences. So is the Xperia Z3 any better than its predecessor? Let's find out. What's going on, guys? It's Gizmodict here, and this is the review of the Sony Xperia Z3. The design and the build quality of the Xperia Z3 is like any other Sony flagship phone, which includes a chassis sandwiched between two glass pieces surrounded by metal trims on the side. But the Xperia Z3 is more thinner, lighter and rounded as compared to the Xperia Z2, which had sharp edges. The Xperia Z3 also retains the IP68 waterproof and dustproof certification, so you can definitely put this device underwater to take some cool pictures. On the front of the Xperia Z3, there are some sensors, a front-facing camera, and a 5.2-inch 1080p display, which Sony has improved a lot. There are also two front-facing stereo speakers, which are much better than on the ones on the Xperia Z2.
She's up all night to the sun. I'm up all night to get some. She's up all night for good fun. I'm up all night to get lucky.
On the right hand side of the device, we have a micro SD card slot along with a nano SIM tray covered by a single flap. It is followed by the standard Sony power button and volume rockers along with a dedicated camera shutter key. I like phones which come with a dedicated camera key, and Sony never disappoints in this area. On the left hand side, you have the micro USB port covered by a flap along with a magnetic port for Sony accessories. The headphone jack is on the top, and on the back we have the amazing 20.7 megapixel shooter along with an LED flash. Internally, the Xperia Z3 is almost identical to the Xperia Z2. We have a Quad Core Snapdragon 801 chip along with Adreno 330 GPU and 3GB of RAM. Sony could have updated this chip to a Snapdragon 805, but they decided to stick with the 801, which is still no doubt a very powerful chip. Performance on this device is very smooth and snappy without any hiccups. All the major titles run very well on the highest graphical settings, and I clearly did not feel the need for the more powerful Snapdragon 805 on this phone. The Xperia Z3 did heat up a little near the camera region while heavy gaming, but it wasn't as prominent as in the Xperia Z2. On the software side, the Xperia Z3 runs on Android 4.4.4 KitKat along with a custom Sony skin. The user experience on the Xperia Z3 is very similar to any other current generation Sony phone. You do get a custom Sony launcher with big icons along with a few Sony apps like Walkman, Album, etc. Upon opening the multitasking tray, you can access the small apps which let you use some of the apps in a small window over any other app that you are using. This is not as good as the multitasking options available in the Samsung phones, but it's there and sometimes it's quite useful. The quick toggles tray in the notification center on the Xperia Z3 can be customized, and you can choose the toggles that you want in the tray. Sony has also included a themes option in the Xperia Z3 from which you can download various themes to customize your phone. Overall, the user interface is quite customizable, and it is also closer to stock Android compared to those from the other manufacturers. Navigating throughout this phone is very fast and fluid without any lags. So if you prefer smoothness over features, you will definitely like the software on the Xperia Z3. The Lollipop update for the Z3 is just around the corner, so the software is even going to get better on this phone. One of the primary selling points of the Xperia Z3 is its 20.7 megapixel shooter on the back. Sony has kept the sensor same since the Xperia Z1, but they have improved a lot, and the Xperia Z3 definitely has one of the best cameras in the Android market right now. The camera interface from Sony offers a lot of features and modes to choose. The superior auto mode is great for different lighting situations, but sadly it is only limited to 8 megapixels. To shoot in full 20 megapixel resolution, you have to shoot in the manual mode, wherein you can adjust the ISO and some other settings. The Xperia Z3 also records 4K videos at 30 frames per second and 1080p video at 30 and 60 frames per second. There's also a 120 FPS 720p slow motion video mode. There are also various other options like the burst mode and background defocus mode, which let you click some very creative pictures. The picture quality is amazing in daylight. The color reproduction is good, and since we can shoot in 20 megapixels, the amount of detail captured in the image is great. Indoor shots also look very nice, and the pictures in negligible lighting are quite surprising because the sensor bumps up the ISO too high in the superior auto mode and gets in a crazy amount of lighting in the picture. Sometimes the output is such that you would not even believe that the picture was taken in almost no lighting. This is great for taking pictures in clubs and indoor areas where the lighting is very minimal. The front-facing camera is of 2 megapixels and can record at 1080p. The video recording on the Z3 is also great. As I said before, you can record in full 4K, and the details and the quality of the video is great. The focus is quick and the overall output is very good. There's also a 720p slow motion option which lets you take some really cool slow motion videos. So overall, in the camera department, the Xperia Z3 has definitely one of the best shooters without any doubt. To view these pictures and 4K videos, you have a 5.2-inch 1080p tri-luminous display with a pixel density of 424. Sony could have gone with a 2K display, but I guess they're reserving it for the Xperia Z4. Nevertheless, the 1080p display on the Xperia Z3 is actually very good. In the previous iterations of the Xperia Z series, there was always a complaint about the viewing angles of the display. But this time Sony has improved their display, and on the Z3 I did not have any issues with the display when it came to viewing angles. The display is bright and the color reproduction was also great. Since it is an LCD display, the blacks are not as deep as the ones on the AMOLED panel. The display on the Xperia Z3 can also be tweaked according to your liking using some of the settings in the display menu. The 1080p display combined with the front-firing stereo speakers make the Xperia Z3 a great device for media consumption. The 3100 mAh battery on the Xperia Z3 is slightly smaller than the one on the Xperia Z2, but the battery life is actually very good on the Xperia Z3. On a heavy day with about 40 to 45 minutes of Asphalt 8 and half an hour of YouTube videos, I could manage a screen on time of about 3.5 hours with around 30% battery left at the end of the day. So on a heavy use, it will easily last you a day and a little more. Low to medium end users might make it to around 2 days on a single charge too. There are also a lot of battery saving options like the stamina mode from Sony, which you can use to increase the battery life further. Call quality and network reception was very good on the phone, and I did like to talk on the loudspeaker of the Xperia Z3 at times. Overall, the Xperia Z3 is definitely one of the best devices of 2014. It has a great camera, a very good battery life, a great display with decent front-firing speakers, along with the ability to withstand water and dust. The phone looks and feels very premium, and it is definitely worth the price you're paying for. The only downside to this device might be the Sony custom skin, but it's a personal preference. Other than that, the Xperia Z3 is a great device and I enjoyed using it. So this was my review of the Sony Xperia Z3. Please like the video if you liked it, and for more such content, please subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button below the video. For more updates, please follow Gizmodict on social media pages. All the links are given in the video's description. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.